Capricorn. How you doing? Working a lot? Thinking a lot? Doing a lot? Because I know you. There's been a lot of work being done by Capricorns. By Capricorns, for Capricorns. A lot of work in the planets, in the planetary aspects, everything. So you might feel a sense of relief towards your season when Saturn and Jupiter move from you to Aquarius. So you might feel this, everything feels like so much pressure, and then all of a sudden there's it's this buildup. You have this buildup happening. And of course, you love your season and you're ready for it. Though Sagittarius season may feel like a little stab. Sagittarius just have a way with saying things, being really honest. So if you're going through an emotional heartbreak or a relationship heartbreak, or something is changing in your relationship, or this, everything that you felt through Scorpio season is now leading you to a new person that's coming in. It could be either or. And I really feel the second one for most of you. This feeling of becoming more emotionally mature. Becoming more aware of your core desires, your heart's, like your heart's pure desires. And your mind wants to take a stab at it. And yet Sagittarius season is about heart. Yes, they are the philosophers and the truth tellers, and they sometimes feel like they're shooting directly at you, and it might be. So coming into the season, if you felt it already, it's that growth that you're feeling. Just got a lot of cards that fell out. Okay. So first we have the Six of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. So it's a shift. You're shifting from accepting this, even accepting, I don't want to say crumbs because that's not it with you. You really realize that you are better than where you've been putting yourself, and that you deserve better. And you realize it because you're now starting to speak about it. And maybe the universe has been trying to show you. Maybe there's a father figure or a man, a really strong male in your life who's really supportive of this and that you can turn to. Because it seems like you need a little bit of advice this season. And here we have the Knight of Swords and the Page of Cups. And once you get that advice, or if you're giving it to yourself, it's really easy to move in a way that feels like you. Like, okay, I got this, no problem, confident. But there's also meaning behind it. there's this offering. It's this maturing. Because yes, work is important. Yes, doing what you're good at is really important. And also, it's important to acknowledge your feelings. And if you had that breakthrough, because the Three of Swords looks really painful, but it could be a breakthrough that you came into, that you were finally ready to see, and all of a sudden, boom, you feel it. And, you know, Scorpio season can do that for everyone. It did it for me. And Sagittarius season wants you to acknowledge this, because you are growing in a way that can benefit and is going to benefit your career and your personal life. It's about it's about you coming into this place of maturing your worth. I mean, you know you're worth it. You know that you have an ability to make money like I feel like no other sign does. Though your worth ethic is incredible, bottom of the deck. You know where the work needs to go. Though right now the work is to just take a minute to reflect on how much you've grown and to tell yourself. Because this advice that either you're giving yourself or that someone else is giving to you is what's going to stop this rush, this need for a rush. Because you're only then not learning what has kind of been deceptive to you. And what do I mean by that? Well, God, the universe always wants you to share your offerings. Always wants you to do what it is that you need to do and to not worry about the consequences, right? But right now, the consequence is you. It's losing in touch with like why you're doing this, why you're going forward. And Sagittarius season kind of wants you to, yes, it wants us to move and it wants us to go, but it wants us to look around and see what's actually important and necessary. You know, is all of that what you're doing necessary? Or do you need to take a step back and see things from an expanded view? Because you guys have a really great eye. So it's not that you're ever sometimes you can get too narrowed focus. And this is a month where you can really take a step back. Look at all the progress you've made. And now to really get in touch with the part of your heart that you may have been not missing, but you haven't been able to feel until now. And if you are going through a breakup, know that there is, first of all, I'm sorry, and you have much to learn from it. And it could be breaking up with a part of yourself. But there's a sense of newness, and you're going to learn what has been or who has been deceptive towards you. So if you've had friends that seem like, or people in your life that seem like they're there, seem like they support you, I'm sure there may have been a few times in this past year where you've realized, oh, that might not be true. Okay, so we got quite a few cards. Do 3 at a time. This looks beautiful. So learning. The Wheel of Fortune, 2 of Cups, and the Hierophant. You're learning about spiritual growth. Committing to, because we're in a time where things have been so stop and go, especially externally, because that's the world you work in so well. And that's where you share with us your gifts and your purpose, essentially your strengths, right? So now the universe is asking you, Sagittarius season is asking you to be grateful for what you've come into, and as the wheel starts turning, to commit to that spiritual part of yourself, to faith, to commit to yourself in a way that is not only going to benefit your career and your goals, but it's going to benefit you as a person. It's time to commit to that, because it is physical, because it is spiritual, is physical. It's the same thing. Though there's sometimes a loss of practice of it. And we need to be reminded of like, oh, it's okay. And it's going to be okay. Because what you've learned and what you are learning is teaching you to commit in a whole nother way for yourself, where you don't have to be scared if there isn't enough or isn't enough time. That you don't have to be on the clock. It's not ticking away. I have a lot of cards. And then we have the Moon, the Ace of Cups, and the King of Swords. So by the full moon in Gemini, Monday, the 30th, I think you're going to realize something big. Something that will make abundance and make things really clear of where your discipline needs to go now. The discipline in having faith and believing, not only in yourself and your capabilities and putting energy there, but in something greater. So if you're someone who needs that, it's maybe meditation. I said that last month to you guys. I really do feel like meditation benefits Capricorn so much. That when you focus on that part of yourself, it's not to hurt you at all. It's to show you how loved you are and how loving you are and how amazing you are, and to not get so rigid with yourself. Use that discipline wisely. You are very disciplined creatures when it comes down to it, especially to work. But there's another form that's showing up for you now. And the moon wants you to see that. It's a full moon in Gemini. So if you're in a relationship, then maybe it's putting some energy there and taking a little bit of pressure off the other side. Maybe it's reconnecting with the part of yourself that knows, that really knows. Because when a Capricorn is in touch with all of the things, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and knowing that all of them coincide together, when that alignment is there for you guys especially, it's so pure and so beautiful. It's like there's just so much love and so much strength. And it's like, no big deal, everything's gonna be okay. It's such a beautiful quality to have. And I am really grateful for it for you guys. I love you. We'll take a look at the cards. Information is below if you'd like to work with me one-on-one. And you can follow me at The Contemporary Mystic on Instagram. Same way to spell it as on here. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this evolution for you. Hi Capricorn, this is your reading, lots of cards, but I think you needed it. I think you needed to see how it looks laid out for you. So whatever coming into Sagittarius season, whatever you're feeling in your heart or in your mind, the mixture of it is asking you to hold space for that part of yourself, because you're growing in a way that is very helpful for your trajectory. This view of turning whatever had given you less than what you're worth into speaking about it, but not getting overly aggressive about that either. The aggression comes in when you, as you need to like clear the cobwebs or that tunnel vision in order to see the wider view of things. Because it's possible that you've been hurt by people and not even realize it. And normally, like as a Capricorn, that doesn't happen a lot. It just depends on your other placements too. But it's finding that, and it's just like tidying up. Like this new perspective is allowing you to really tidy up what hasn't been helpful over the course of the past maybe couple years, but especially since probably last winter, even the spring. And it's also the universe asking you to take a look at the higher perspective of what you believe in, your faith, and putting more of your energy there. Putting more of your energy into that place instead of all into one thing, all into work, all into a relationship. There's a necessary restructure on that spot. So it's like, you know, the mountain goat, right? So you're the mountain goat and you're climbing up the mountain and you want to keep going, but you just so happen to be at the perfect level where the sun meets the horizon, and it's not too bad there. And it's actually showing you the perspective of what it's like to go up even further and then what it's like to go down. And you're kind of at this sweet spot. If you give yourself the few moments that you really need, you're at this sweet spot where you can see and feel the freedom and where you are and what you're doing and who you are. Because even though you're an earth sign, when you're feeling like great, like amazing, but then you get all up in your head about it, there can be this ego that doesn't really, it suits you, but it tends to knock you down off that mountain. It can. So it's time to learn from this part of everything. So if you've been hurt by someone or people, it's time to like really see it and use that aggressive tendency to move on and move away from those people who've not treated you as you ought to be. Because the thing is, you can't make anyone treat you like that. You have to become that and keep going with that. And then either those people will start treating you like that, or you'll meet new people. And you guys don't have a problem being like a little bit of loners, you know? I think that's healthy for everyone. Though it's your time to start to turn this even further, this commitment to your faith, what it is that you really can believe in and know to be true. And I'm sure if you look back, your past experiences will bring you there. And it becomes this give and receive, because the universe is like, oh, no. Like, Capricorn, you need to listen to me now. We need to have this conversation. And by the Gemini full moon on Monday, November 30th, I should say, November 30th, it's going to feel different. You might feel different. And you might feel like, oh, discipline is needed there now. Discipline in not allowing these other things to take away my energy, but to see where I can give myself more for what I want to do. And like another sense of freedom, another sense of play, maybe even some joy, and finding yourself and giving yourself the chance to feel it, the chance to be with it, and to use that in your work, use that in your life, use that in your relationships. And maybe there's a Taurus in your life. If there's a Taurus in your life, that seems to be going really well. And it's going to bring lots of love and lots of abundance along with it. And remember, this full moon is just showing you where you need to put more of that, where you need to put that energy bank, where you need to start putting. It's not just about the money that you're making, it's about your worth. You know your worth. And it's time to take a step back, like I said in the first part of the video, this expansive view, to see it all, to see your timeline laid out for you and realize, oh, I need a little bit more of this. I need spiritual grounding. Because that's what makes you so special, is that when you're spiritually grounded and yet so on your shit, it's just so beautiful. It's magnificent, honestly. And I love it. And the universe does too. Because it's so generous and giving, but you're still so you. Like, take no shit. So if you're a Capricorn that has had issues with or has struggled with your worth and empowering yourself, this is the month to do it. Let Sagittarius season show you how it's done. Because then your season will come and be like, oh, okay, I got this. No need to worry about who doesn't matter, what doesn't matter. It's this whole new outlook. And even Uranus and Taurus is really supporting you. So make these moves and it will all come around back to you. Just be rigid. Don't be rigid. Be disciplined. Disciplined where it's needed. And that just may be a little bit different than where you've been putting it. All right? I love you, Capricorn. I'll see you next month. My email is below if you want to work with me one-on-one. I'm going to have a Patreon coming soon. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Love you.